All right, that was Fullamar setup taking the victory. For a while, nothing really happened. For the people that don't really understand how it kind of exploded, what exactly went on?
I wish I knew more about exactly how it went down, but it was pretty clear that obviously the Amar team needs to close in, the Absols need to be fairly close to kill stuff, but the Solar team had tons of control. They had so many webs with the two Hugins, and they have damps from the bombers.
Well.
Yeah, and the Loki as well. So potentially, the Amar team is trying to like push through all this E-war, and that's takes a while for them to do that. I was actually surprised they were able to even do it eventually. It seemed like they had so much control they might be able to hold the Amar off forever, but they weren't, which is awesome.
Yeah, in seeing the Solar Fleet team, like I really think that bombers were not the right choice there. I think that they had some damage, and the main advantage of those bombers in that fight was the damps they initially put on. If they had killed that Absolution early, while they were damping out the logistics of Razor, then that fight could have gone entirely differently. But I really, unless you're doing a bombing run at the beginning, I really don't like that many bombers.
I think the coolest thing in that match, and the thing I want to know more about, is the curses, because I think their job was so tough. They need to break the Oneros so that they can get through the tank from the other team. They also need to probably take the cap away from the Hugins so that they can get the Absols delivered to the bombers. So I think that the pilots probably had a lot to do, and it would be cool to know kind of exactly how that went down, but really cool match.
Definitely, and as soon as those Asbos got in, Asbos sitting outside.
He's
sitting outside. As soon as those Absols got in, the stealth bombers just started exploding left and right.
Yeah. But the Oneros for the bombers did a great job. They had to bounce back and forth between targets, and he was under cap pressure for sure. I think the logistics pilot for Solar did a great job in that match.
I think in most setups, when there's a logistics ship, the logistics pilot you want your most skilled pilot in that logistics ship.
Absolutely. So before we get a quick update on how the rest of the day is going to look, let's just do a round of Dust questions before we sign off. Do you want to start off?
Okie doke. In earlier previews of Dust and what has been shown to the community, there was initially the gameplay mechanic of dropping structures onto the map from a commander's point of view, but I didn't really see that in the Hilmar's release trailer. Is that going to be in, or was that chosen didn't seem like where you wanted to go with the gameplay?
We are going to have the commander mode in.
Mm-hmm.
We think that's a really cool feature, specifically from an RTS standpoint. When exactly, we don't know yet, but we have a super aggressive expansion strategy for Dust when it comes out, as we've had with Eve. So you're going to see that game, again, non-typical for a console game. You're going to get a lot of updates as you're playing it, and it's going to expand and be better and better and better. It might not have all the bells and whistles from the get-go, but it's more important to really stabilize the main gameplay, which is get in quick, kill people, shoot them in the face and all of that stuff, matchmaking, do all of that properly, and then get into the more heavy, hardcore, community-based features. And the commander mode, I don't know when it's going to be in, but I know it's going to be in.
Okay, and I think I heard Hilmar say that all those expansions are just going to be free, pumped out.
Everything. I mean, the game is free. You pay an initial cover charge, which is not going to be that much, and you get money for that, in-game money that you can spend. So it's basically free. So after you spend that, if you choose to play for free, you can, and you will get all of this stuff free.
That's cool.
All right, my question. We started on the break. I'm actually pretty Dust ignorant. I'm not a console player, but it is really interesting that it's going to be interacting with our environment and Eve. And anyway, I play a little Team Fortress or whatever, like everyone else. And I asked if there was going to be classes in Dust, if we're going to see different types of, a dude with a rocket launcher and a dude with a laser or whatever. And what do you have to tell me about that?
So just like in Eve, and we've had great experience with this in Eve, is we want to give people the opportunity to go one direction and then change the direction and do something else, because your taste for gameplay changes, right? So we're going to do the same thing for Dust. So people are going to be able to start in one direction and they're not just stuck there and have to get another character to go down another line, right? Or in a different class. So you can actually, you can wander around and try multiple things.
So that means you don't like pick one of these directions at the start of each match and you change it each time.
Well,
but this, I mean, it sounds more like you have a character that's developing.
Yeah,
it's more like Eve.
Yeah.
It's just like you pick a ship in Eve for a fight, right?
Okay.
You have a certain role, right?
Okay.
So you're gonna choose your layout for that particular fight, and you're gonna be able to call in stuff, right, in the middle of a fight, and you can possibly change fittings on your vehicles in the fight, something that Eve doesn't allow you to do. So there's going to be a lot of flexibility in the game. And then, of course, we're going to introduce, the element of time-based training as well into the character evolution, in combination with other things, without going too deep into that.
Wow.
All right.
It's going to be really cool. I mean, the game concept is revolutionary and just technically, well, impossible, but we are already doing it, so it's going to be there.
It's going to happen.
Are you using a 4D mice for it?
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Guys,
Okay.
we have to go to a break. As much as this is an interesting topic, this is going to be one of the most exciting releases I've heard of in a long time. We do have to take a break. We will be back with the next match. I believe the next match is at 16:20 or 18:20. Sorry, that is the first of the quarterfinals. We'll be back in the studio about 5-10 minutes before to talk a little bit more about all the exciting things that are coming up. And then we basically start the stretch of finding out who wins the Alliance tournament. So keep checking back. Remember that you have about 20 more minutes to enter the PCU contest. You basically have to guess how many people are on at the most between 1930 and 2100 Eve. So remember to not only send your bid in, but also log on all your characters and all your friends' characters. Actually, don't do that. Ask your friends to do it. You can't account share. Maybe for 1.5 hours you can. Anyway, let's get as many people online and hopefully break the PCU. We'll be back at 18:20 Eve with the next match. It is Perihelion versus possible tournament finalists Darkside.